This is code.org and IP addresses and internet protocol. How does the internet work? It's something we should know, particularly for this class. So I want to dive into some of those details and we can take a closer look at these questions. So first off, they have this graphic. We've talked about it. I will review it, but I want to make this a bit more real. This is a command prompt. Now, my internet, my computer right now has an IP address, ipconfig, and this is the data. All right, so this is the number that is used to identify it. This one right here, IP4 address, this is my local one, so it's on my local area network. So the outside world wouldn't see my number like this. And then we're going to leave that alone. This is my routing address. So the actual router that is connected to my cable modem that's giving me internet right now is this. Now they have IP, these 6 addresses. It's because we're running out of IP address numbers. We didn't originally think we would need so many, but now, watch TVs and refrigerators need internet addresses. 6 addresses are also longer, so we aren't going to run out of internet addresses for the foreseeable future, like for real. Anyways, so this is what we're actually talking about. These addresses. These addresses are used to communicate between computers. I'm going to close that for now. So computing devices, yeah. They're just the machines we're actually using. The systems, as we've talked about, that's when computers could be working together, right? Maybe I have multiple computers working on the same problem or a simulation of the sorts, and that would be a system. A network is when we actually have things connected, maybe a tablet and a phone, and they're talking to one another. Maybe I send a text message to my friend who opens it on a MacBook, and they shoot out another text to their mom because, we're cool, and they open it on their tablet. That's what a network would be. It's when you're connecting to different devices. And then the path, the series of connections between input devices. A network starting with a sender and ending with a receiver. Yeah, so the path is the literal path that it might go through to reach there. Bandwidth, that's how fast your internet is. The maximum amount of data that can be sent in a fixed amount of time, usually measured in bits per second. Yeah, and I want to actually show something with that. I've just magicked up fast.com. I'm just keeping track of how fast my internet is while I'm rating it. This is 91 megabits per second. That is how fast. That is my bandwidth right now. All right. So, what they have here. Now, this prompt we've discussed, I want to take a look at this. Protocol. An agreement signed set of rules that specify the behavior of some system. IP address, a unique number assigned to each device. Yes. And so the IP address is that unique number. Now, the protocol, Internet Protocol, is a protocol for sending data across the internet that assigns unique numbers to each connected device. So all devices have these own unique numbers, and it's what's going to identify them from one another on the internet. Now, it's not as terrifying as it sounds. Oftentimes, you would only be able to see the general location an IP address is coming from, but every device does have its own unique number. And there's an agreement that manages these, and the actual number is the IP address. All right, what I want to take a look at right now is this question. Pick 2 statements that are true about the Internet Protocol. Okay, so what would be true? Internet Protocol, IP. Each device or computer on the internet is assigned a unique one. IP is a secret protocol shared between sender and receiver. Well, would it be that secret if I can just show you the number like I just did? It's not going to be secret. It's what's actually used to communicate. Each network on the internet uses its own protocol to address message. Now, would it be useful if everything had its own protocol? Maybe I should Google this. What's protocol? The official procedure or system of rules of government. So it's a procedure. Would it be useful if everything had its own government, its own procedure for every internet message? No, that would be crazy. You need all your devices to talk to each other. In order to communicate, 2 devices on the internet must have the same IP address. Now, if everything had the same address, could you locate or communicate? Nope. So that one's not going to make sense either. IP is the shared way that all devices and computers label their messages with the sender and the... Yep, that's how we know. And then each device, I think it's going to be this one. Now, if you're not sure about these, please go back. Please think about it. Please walk through what we just did. But it should be each device is assigned a unique one, right? Addresses need to be unique. That's how we can send stuff to each other. And how do we know where to go and where it's coming from are those addresses. So the sender would need an address and the receiver. If you don't have an address, how can you send something or receive it? Let's check out what we got here. Describe how the Internet Protocol allows devices to easily connect and communicate on the Internet. So, now, make sure you're writing your own answers, but I do want to think about this with you. So, since the first thing I would say is it is an open protocol, it's a protocol that all can use. So, I'm going to put down some of my thoughts and then talk about it. The things I would hit upon, at least in my thoughts, Internet, it's widely used and it's open to all. So, we all have the same system. Everyone can use, and there's so many things already using this, right? So it makes sense to use that same system unless you want to invent your own side internet and communicate with you and like 2 other devices. That makes no sense. We have this protocol set up and ready to go. You just have to follow the rules of it. And then the other thing I'd point out about the Internet Protocol or IP addresses, it's unique. It's like an email address, or when you text someone, or you have a unique you have a unique phone number. All of these things, right? How are you going to communicate with another device without knowing its IP? When I go to Amazon to buy another 5 pounds of Jolly Ranchers because I believe in teacher bribery, teachers bribing students, I should say. When I do that, how do they know what device I am on? Or when I sign in, how do they know who to send? Or when I search for Jolly Ranchers, how does Amazon know, or actually the server that I'm communicating at, know who to show the Jolly Rancher screen to? Well, I send out a request from my computer in computer terms saying, hey, I want to view this page. And that page comes back to me because of IP addresses. So again, make sure you are only using your own words. Anything else is cheating. But these are things I would think about. Critical components of how IP addresses work and Internet Protocol. Cool. Onward.